verdad, pero esta vez me separaron. Dijeron mucho, pero no se olvidaron de callarse. Cuánto odio por mi piel sembraron. Dijeron historia y la tergiversaron. Dijeron guerra, muerte, odio y nos culparon. Siempre. Enfermedades, epidemias nos contagiaron. Exterminación de mi fauna complace a tus mercados. Dijeron riqueza y todos se lo robaron. Oro, platino, diamante, a la fuerza se lo llevaron. Y la actualidad es tan triste que todo aquello que dijeron es lo mismo que hoy se dice más. ¿Quién dice, quién explota, quién se beneficia? El asesino, el mismo que da las noticias. Hay una cuenta fácil que siempre me da las grandes riquezas, de dónde vienen y hacia dónde van.
Independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao, independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao. Nati Dre es afroresistencia, cultura ancestral, afrodescendencia, solidaridad. Esa es la esencia, la diáspora africana eleva la conciencia, conciencia negra, universal, progresista y transcultural. Negros y mestizos revolucionando, pueblos caribeños y africanos en un solo bando. No más explotación, colonialismo interno, no más confusión, supremacía blanca en el Babilón. Soy rojo, negro y verde, afroliberación. Mientras más negro, más represión. Somos creadores, recupera tu visión. Mi misión es educar con amor, contra el silencio, vivo sin temor. Independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao, independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao.
What's happening, good people? It's the Rise Up Morning Show, your favorite morning show in the whole goddamn world. You know what we do around here. International Boona in the building. What up, International Boona? You know what I mean?
It's international good. How are you guys?
Okay, it's international good. You know what I'm saying? Got Fernando in the building, his compadre that keeps him in check and whatnot. What's happening, Fernando?
I'm trying. What's good? What's good, everybody?
Okay.
A little cold today, but out here, but
a little cold. Right. Where you at in the French Alps? Where you at, brother?
Nah, man. I'm in kind of like the west of France, but it's a little bit cold. It was like 50 degrees this morning, man.
Okay, 50 degrees, huh?
That's cold, man. Come on.
That's cold, man.
That's cold.
Yeah,
like it's colder than white man out there.
People shouldn't be confused, because we're not using the same system.
No. I mean, they do Fahrenheit out there. That's 50. Over here, it's like 10 degrees. It's about.
Okay. I thought it said 15.
No, it's about 10 Celsius. Is about 50, I think.
Yeah.
Look at Boona set tripping over there talking about they use Fahrenheit, we use Celsius. So now we beefing.
No, because it had said 15. People might have been confused.
We using Kelvin over here, bro. So don't even get it twisted. Yeah, you ain't know I knew.
You're the comandante.
Hey, that's right, man. I had to throw it up there. I'm sick of them. They don't even know. Yeah. I was sub commandante, but you know what I'm saying? I stepped up this year. Anyway, Natasha, what's good? How you doing?
Good. I'm good this morning. How's everyone else?
I was all right, man. I feel like I did 2 shows today, man. That's how tired I am. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, Kalanji. I feel you.
You feel me? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to the young man under you. You know what I'm saying? The very ruthless young Isaac Jasper. How you doing, sir?
Doing good as can be. Glad to be on with you guys. Glad to start this show off on the right foot. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna land my plane at.
Okay. You know what's wild about Isaac, and my name is Kalani Chung for folks that don't know. It's the first time tuning in, and these are the folks I run with. You know what I'm saying? They're the real commanders. I'm just here trying to keep my job. It's funny, Isaac, he always comes in, he comes all like, I'm doing good, everything's simple. And then mid-show, he explodes, like Drake's cakes and Starbucks and coffee cakes and cake. I'm like, oh boy.
It's crescendo.
That's what it is, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm with you. So anyway, again, this is the Rise Up Morning Show. This is Black Power Media. If it's your first time tuning in, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell. Ain't that what they say? That's what Ikemba say. Ikemba's out in the field somewhere in a hood near you, because we organize around here. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got time to be BSing around. You know what I'm saying? We ain't get time to be YouTube beefing and you know what I'm saying, doing tight buys and all that type stuff. You know, some movement going on out here. You know, cats will do a tight buy real quick, like rouse. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Ikemba, man. Shout out to Ikemba.
Yeah, Fernando, like let me bring this back home for Kalanji go too far. But anyway, we are happy to be here. Black Power Media Reloaded is the platform. Black Power Media Reloaded, and it's important that we say Reloaded because one, we want you to know that it is something unlike anything else you may have seen. We have a whole lot of great programming on here, and we are very grateful for what it is we have to offer. Shout out to our latest show, which is Anti-Imperialist Feminism and the Captain Maternal Agency. You know, they just changed their name. It was Decolonized Feminism, but they just changed their name. Shout out to the three sisters that are running that. My sister Marsha Hines Mary, Khadijah James. Not Khadijah James. Khadijah James. That's from In Living Color. I'm tripping. Khadijah. I'm sorry, Khadijah. I can't even think your last name. I'm tripping right now. We're gonna get back. Khadijah Haynes. I said Khadijah James. And Joy James. I just mixed two people's names up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't even try to help me. Y'all sitting over there looking at me like.
I was about to say Khadijah Shanga, but I wasn't sure.
I don't say that. Don't play like that, brother. You get shot. You know what I'm saying? No. You know what I'm saying? We'll start that. You know what I mean? You know, we do. And we also have Professor Griff and his new show. And today, Arm the Masses. So make sure you tune into that particular show, which will air today at noon right here on Black Power Media. And we have like so much going on, so much new material. The new issue of Afro Pick will be dropping, I believe, next week. And my daughter Kepra Ma'at, shout out to Kepra, she designed a brand new logo for Afro Pick. So dig it. She's the she designed my logo for RSTV, the whole cartoon face I had. Yeah. And so shout out to her. She was like, look, you need a new logo. She's like, I'm not gonna charge you this time. I'm like, her. I don't know who playing what over there. He's trying to get his flag, but it's all good. But anyway, we got a lot of news coming up. Huh?
No, I was just checking. That wasn't me.
Okay, it was nobody. It was a ghost, huh? It's all
That
good.
was me. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all see how
say nothing.
Y'all see how Natasha was just gonna let it roll out to someone else, right? She's like, let me mute myself real quick.
I was gonna let it roll past, but then
let me find out Natasha over there checking out a different YouTube channel while we are
she over there watching the show.
Yeah, she watching the ops.
Multitask.
Doing another show at the same time, right?
Windows together. You know, you got to get your windows together on your computer.
Natasha over there liking somebody else's page, subscribing to other people's stuff.
No, that's not it.
Natasha supporting other people's Patreon. Anyway, we're in red form this morning. I haven't had my coffee yet, nor my tea, but it's all right. Tomorrow is a few things going on. Leonard Peltier's born date. So we know our brother Isaac will be involved in some festivities with that tomorrow. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. And we're going to get the latest of what's going on in and around your neck of the woods. You know what I mean? So definitely stay on point. What's going on over your way, man? Anything happening?
Yeah, I don't really want to. I really didn't want to start this off on what would be like a sad tip, but I just want to shout out to my cousin Katrina, my cousin Selena, my cousin Savannah, Alexandria, my aunt Deborah, who I had only met once, but was someone who, like, when you met them, even just the first time, you really got a sense of realness. You got a sense of love, care. You know, she was hit by two speed racers on her way home, and was tragically killed. And so I just want to shout out to my cousins, but I also want to, emphasize for those that are, watching this, that, got your scat packs, and got your, SRTs and your demons and whatnot, and you're out there racing. I want you to really understand what happens when you fuck someone's life and you tore a whole entire family apart. This made the news, so people can go and check that out. Just for my sake, because I'm not trying to get emotional on here. I will not. I didn't even ask why I didn't ask you guys to play it, but I just want to shout, out to my family, that are in California. I really am sending my love, and I hope that the viewers can really understand that people who do this, that do these street racing type shit, and you waste your fucking money on, buying all these add-ons and muffler deletes and alternator deletions and shit, that you're fucking a family up when you go out there and you race on a street that you think is empty. It's empty because people have lives and they have to wake up in the morning, so that's why that street's empty, because people have fucking common sense and some of these individuals don't. And so just shout out to my family, love and condolences to them. But yeah.
Definitely our condolences to your family. I'm sorry to hear that. Crazy thing here in Atlanta, there's sometimes at least once a month, I may see a car flipped over on the highway, 285 or 85, and it's almost like you hate driving sometime on these highways, because in late night or any time of the day, these folks are driving like very reckless. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like literally they will cut in front of you going like 100 miles an hour, whatever the case is. And it's just like, people aren't thinking about anyone's lives outside of their own. So we definitely give our sincere condolences to your family. In the same vein, I want to shout out our Uncle Sonny, who was the patriarch of our family, our eldest member of our family, just made his transition yesterday while we were doing the Remix Morning Show. I got that call immediately afterwards. So, he was my grandmother's younger brother, but he was like that dude. He was a brother that was, he was what you call a quiet warrior. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I had one uncle that was real tough, and he was talking crazy one day, and no one would ever say anything to him. And then all of a sudden, he was talking crazy, and our Uncle Sonny was there, and he said, I tell you what, he said, why don't you come outside with me for a minute? I don't think my uncle came outside yet. I'm just joking, but no, he really, you knew whenever he spoke, it was like, and he was a cool, calm brother. He wasn't he didn't talk a lot and all that, but when it came to the business or whatever, you knew that he wasn't to be played with. You know what I mean? So we say, definitely salute to your uncle, salute to, to your aunt, and, to all of our loved ones and our ancestors, so on and so forth. May they find peace and tranquility, and may all families be healed and made whole, in due time. So again, we're checking out the Rise Up Morning Show. We're going to go to a quick Black Power break. We're going to be back at you, and we're going to try to give you that critical political action, because every day is a good day for revolution here on the Rise Up Morning Show. Let's get it.
Rise up.
Read a couple of poems out of my book for you. In the shadowed night. Sometimes in the shadowed night, I become spirit. The walls the bars, the gratings dissolve into light, and I unloosen my soul and fly through the inner darkness of my being. I become transparent, a bright shadow, a bird of dreams singing from the tree of life. The knife of my mind. I have no presence. I have only a past, and perhaps a future. The present has been taken from me. I'm left in an empty space whose darkness I carve at with the knife of my mind. I must carve myself anew out of the razor wire nothingness. I will know the ecstasy and the pain of freedom. I will be ordinary again. Yes, ordinary. That terrifying condition where all is possibility, where the present exists and must be faced.
Yes, indeed. That was Leonard Peltier, who will turn 80 years old tomorrow. It's amazing to see our elders grow, right? It's amazing to see political prisoners who many of us have supported for decades. 80 is like a serious number, I guess, to all of us, because folks hold on before 80, and 80 is like official to the bone gristle. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's a whole different realm. And we're grateful that Leonard Peltier will be 80, but also, if there was a such thing as a birthday gift we could give him, it would be his freedom.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? The freedom to move around. When we think about natives of this land, a lot of times folks talk about reparations, for African people. And a lot of times folks talk about gentrification. When we talk about gentrification, those are the original victims of gentrification on this land. Yeah. We're going to talk about that way before the Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? Way before the Whole Foods and all that. These are the folks who were gentrified, the OGs of gentrification on this particular continent or in this country. So we pay homage to that. And then some folks, they'll say, well, at least they got casinos. Any native that I know that is serious about the liberation movement, they're like, fuck a casino. You know what I'm saying? That's not what they want. They want their land back. They're not interested in, some slot machines and shit that white folks exploit and enjoy. So definitely shout out to Leonard Peltier, and may he be released at some point soon. Yes. Speaking of Leonard Peltier, tomorrow there will be a virtual press conference, but not only a press conference, there'll also be a panel discussion. And panel discussion should be a pretty good panel discussion. We have some great people will be on it. It'll be Elder Lenny Foster, Rose Styron, who is the founder of Amnesty International USA. They have Julia Wright will be on board. And I understand there's a keynote delivered by Nick Cruz of Revolutionary Blackout Network. Yeah, but most importantly, we have one of our own, a brother we all know and love, a brother who is one of our greatest. No, I'm not talking about me.
You're talking about Comandante, right?
No, not Commandante. not today. We have our brother Isaac Jasper will be on the panel tomorrow.
Mm.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
he was as shocked as y'all were. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I definitely was, and I think I have to thank first and foremost you for relaying, referring, my name. I told you over the phone, for me as an Afro-Indigenous person, but most importantly, an Indigenous native from California, being Kostano Rumsen Oloni, and being invited to a discussion on Leonard Peltier, having a discussion on his birthday. It's an honor. It's connecting Indigenous communities. It's doing real work. When first and foremost, I never even thought I would ever be a part of a discussion like that. I didn't think I was warranted for something like that, that I had the type of merit. There's people out there that want to talk and classify intentions, particularly the show in general. My intentions are what you see. I want Leonard Peltier free. If you want Leonard Peltier free, then hey, we got the same intentions. You want all political prisoners free? We got the same intentions. But I will not, and I mean I will not, be put in a position to where you question the work that I've done. I came at this from literally being a broadcast journalist for basketball, WNBA in particular. I've grown. I know that I have more growing to do, and this is an example of that. I don't know exactly what I'm going to say. I've been writing some stuff down even as we speak, when it comes to this discussion, because it's probably the biggest thing that I've ever been asked to do. And so I just need people to also understand that the fact that we're having a discussion on Leonard Peltier's birthday without Leonard Peltier to be able to be present is something that needs to be highlighted. The fact that he's celebrating his 80th birthday, but the man has spent 50 years in prison. Okay, so that means that means when he's only been free for 30 years of his life. So when he talks about in that poem, his all he has to rely on is his future because his present has been completely stripped from him. That can easily be said for the millions of individuals within our diaspora, that their present is being stripped from them under the constraints of imperialism. And so again, when you classify or you question my intentions and my intentions align with yours, I question you. That's where I'll leave it. Thank you for the opportunity, to the individuals of the panel, of the discussion. It's something, again, I'm taking very seriously, and I look forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be for me probably the biggest day for not just myself but also my tribe. As I said, I called my spiritual leader. I told you Kalanji, and I told them, and they're excited. We're making connections that need to be made, and I can't be nothing more than proud of the Rise Up Morning Show. Proud of everybody that's on this screen. We all come from different walks of life. We all come from different areas of activism, and we respect everybody. We respect each other for that. We work with each other because of that. And so, questioning what we do is, in my opinion, doing the bidding of the oppressor. And just one last thing, Kalanji, you spoke about how Indigenous people don't want, casinos. Yeah, we don't. But we also have to understand that there are a sector of individuals that believe that that's the only way, the same way that black individuals here within the occupation believe that we have to work within the constraints of this system to be able to survive. So the same struggles that Indigenous people of these lands go through is the same struggle that Black Indigenous people go through as well from the motherland of Africa. So I just needed to get that out before we got into some real news and into what really needs to be said. But I'm happy and honored to be at least named for this discussion. So
no doubt. Well, we know you're gonna do a good job, or you will suffer your 51st defeat. No, I'm joking. It's gonna be some consequences and repercussions. Be like, did that motherfucker just say? Like Natasha, go get his ass off stage. But anyway, on the real, man. I am. I respect all of you on this platform. If I didn't, I wouldn't even be talking to you. I'm very particular about who I talk to these days. You know what I'm saying? Most people tell you they can't even get me on the phone. And I'm saying this, I don't know why I'm saying publicly, because they're gonna be like, "Hey, you won't even pick up the phone." No, I won't. Because
I tried to call you 2 days ago.
See, that's an example. That's an example. No, but on the real, and definitely shout out to the Leonard Peltier ad hoc committee, who is putting that particular piece together. All of you, whenever there's anything where anyone can represent, we're going to make sure that we send someone to represent. You know what I'm saying? It's not, this ain't no it's not a one-man gang or one-man band. We're talking about organization, so we have to practice what we preach. You know what I'm saying? There has to be organizational discipline. We're not looking to be celebrities over here. We're not looking to be the #1 YouTube channel. We're looking to liberate our people. You know, if folks don't understand that, then that's your little red wagon, as they say. You know what I'm saying? Nobody even cares about all that. We don't have time to entertain bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because there's too much real shit out here. Like the OG said, bullshit to get real shit to get you killed. Bullshit to get you killed for sure. You understand what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that we stay up on what's real. And this is why we do the things that we do. And again, I appreciate the work that all of you are doing. Natasha, and I joke with her on the Curb Fest. She's like, did I tell y'all about Curb Fest? I'm like, God damn, Natasha, you just told us about it 5 times. But anyway, and your mic muted now. But anyway, she's talking cash shit. Like she got into some Creole. She's like, kubete bule guy. I say.
I was like, yeah, and it just happened this past Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. See what I brought up? How we did this anyway, but and on the real, and what the brothers are doing over in France, you know what I'm saying? Just
our French
making
connection.
Sure that Africa is felt. Don't say that I was saying that, man. They wanted to jump me, so you might have
Buddha's face was like, okay.
Say French one more time. Say French one more time.
How no matter how difficult it might sound or might look like, I don't think it's as daunting as the fight that you guys have to carry out there in the US. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, you don't have the same, you cannot compare the fate of the indigenous in the US to, it's not like I always say, it's not about Olympics of suffering. Right. But I mean, anyone who's serious about anti-colonialism or liberation had to deal first with the indigenous question in the US.
Yes.
Including our brothers and sisters. And, this is one of the points that Jao Horn has raised in several of his books, especially his most recent books. The fact that, some of our ancestors, and I don't want to sound judgmental or, underestimate their accomplishments, but, one of his observations, if not critiques, was that some of them were not really paying enough attention to the fate of the indigenous, which we can understand for different reasons. But I think that this is one of the lessons that we should learn from their own experience, right? Because our fate cannot be separated from the fate of our brothers, indigenous brothers and sisters. And this is very important because I think if you want to have a good indication of, how liberated or how emancipated so-called racial minorities are in the U.S., including those who built the U.S., our ancestors, you have to first look at the condition of the indigenous. And I think we have to make those connections whenever it's possible, not only in abstract ways or only rhetorically, but in practice. And I think the international movement, I don't know how big it is. I know some people are involved in the solidarity movement with Leonard Peltier in France, for example. I know a few of them. I don't think that there are many. But anyways, we have to intensify the international movement campaign to liberate all political prisoners, indigenous, blacks, and to make those connections concrete whenever we can, because I think none of the two groups will move forward, separately. What has to be done at the same time as the others, and those are the most oppressed groups in the history of the U.S. So, yeah, and the migrants went to and the descent of the migrants went to the U.S. if they want to be, if they think that they can benefit from equal treatment. I'm talking about the non-whites, obviously, while at the same time the indigenous are finding themselves in the situation where they are. I think they just, deluding themselves into thinking that they will be equal citizens, where you have the owners of the land who cannot even have equal rights. So that was Buena's report today.
Right.
Real quick, if I may.
Definitely get down.
Yeah. I just want to say, I think, it's important to, I know definitely you, Kalanji, do a lot of work around, political prisoners. And I think, that's one of the most important things, to get back to this, what we're talking about, because sometimes we don't realize, those of us who are, who are outside, who are not locked in a cage, how, sometimes we go, we're in the struggle. We might still be, in the struggle, organizing and all that. But sometimes we don't realize, like 10 years go by, 20 years go by. Some of our elders are still locked in that cage, and we feel like sometimes we may feel like, time goes by fast, but it's not the same when you're locked in a cage, right? And so, and these are, elders that, have been struggling, for our people, for us, so we have to constantly remain on that struggle, to live, to free our political prisoners. I think it's important to mention that again and again, and to do the work. And just to bounce off of what, Isaac was saying a little bit, I think he said it right. I think, we have to give back. We always have to get back to our goal. What's our goal? And we understand our goal is liberation, right? And there are many ways, there are many different ways in which we need to struggle. We can't just do it on one plane, right? We have to be in all planes. We have to be doing it in different ways, because the oppression is coming in different ways as well, right? So just to, we don't have time. We don't have time for the bullshit. I just wanted to mention that, we don't have time for the bullshit, as our people are oppressed around the globe and we're struggling for liberation. At the same time, we have to find ways to feed our families in these, systems of oppression. We have to find ways at the same time to feed our families. In certain case, people like, like myself, we live in these countries, these empires, and we have to also try to find ways to be able to send money back home for our families who need it as well, and we know how in these countries you got to pay for everything. Tomorrow we're gonna have to start paying for the air we're breathing. So shit is tough out here. So we don't have time for the bullshit. So like you said, Isaac, when they're questioning whatever, that's we don't have time for that. We don't have time to even listen to them. Our goal is liberation. We know what we're here for, African liberation, and we got work to do. We got work to do, and I just want to thank you all again, because I really appreciate what y'all do and what we all do together. So let's keep it going.
Yeah, I got one quick thing. Most people will look at us, or any of us in particular, and not really know the long history of radicalism You know, we get caught up on names. You know, if you're not from a, you know, if you're not Malcolm X's daughter, if you're not, you know, Fred Hampton's son, if you're not, you know, Harry Haywood's, you know, grand or whatever, you know, granddaughter or whatever. I'm that I shouldn't have said that one right there, because I don't know that on accurate, you know. But if we're not from the Walter Rodney Foundation, no. I come from a line where my ancestor was Marian Anderson. She didn't have any descendants of any children. Okay. On my dad's side, my grandfather, you know, found out when he passed, you know, early stages and just conversations of him confessing things and whatnot, because he felt, you know, he was on his way out, you know, said in his early, you know, years that, you know, he followed the Panthers, you know, and talked about how he used to read Mao and stuff like that. Come to find out, I found out that some of my uncles were on this Pan-African tip that I didn't know about, and I'm just barely finding out from a couple months ago. So again, I come from a long line of individuals that you might not know, okay, you know, but that doesn't conflate any, that doesn't merit in, you know, for me to be subjected to, you know, okay, well, what are intentions, and you know, you could, you know, fuck you with your intentions. Again, I'll just say that clearly. You know, my intention is liberation. I want to see Kalanji free. I want to see Fernando free. I want to see Natasha free. I want to see Buna free. You know, I want to make sure their children, their children's children, you know. So again, I'm not interested in internet keyboard warring beefs. I'm interested in liberation and keeping it pushing, and that's just that. So, you know,
that's all it is. Anything you want to add, Natasha, or are you tired of these knuckleheads?
No, I was just thinking.
Like, when we get to the news. No, I'm saying.
No. Oh, just to sum up everything. There's a quote. This is I don't remember where they got it from, but I always remember it. It says, I treat them like they're headless. I pay them no mind. And that's just it.
No doubt.
Treat them like a long-handed spoon. That's what my grandmother always used to say.
Hey, man, you know, I appreciate you all for just sharing and reminding the audience as to why we're here. And that's just it. It's not, you know, we don't need no fanfare, no applause, none of that. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we're looking to move the goalposts forward. You know, we joke around, but we're not jokes. You know what I'm saying? I think you'd be foolish to step to any of us on some nonsense in real life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, on the internet, that's cute. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's all good. That's child's play. That's folly. Right now, we're talking about movement. We're talking about revolution. And if what you're talking about ain't in line with that, listen, man, do what you like. You know what I mean? Do what you like. You know, go get your degrees, go get your money, whatever you need to do to feel good about yourself, then go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? But don't ever in your life mistake the work with the entertainment. This is not for entertainment purposes only. Some of y'all need to put that on your videos. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all need to say that this is for entertainment purposes only, because we know that some of your audiences, that's why they're there. They want to be entertained. And I respect that. You know, shit, I like Richard Pryor. You know what I'm saying? You know, I like Red Fox. You know, I like the jokes and everything every now and then, but I also know we're at war. You know what I mean? And if you're unclear about that, then these crackers will get it clear for you. I want to point something out real quick too, because somebody sent me something of a white boy in a certain chat talking about you know, how he wouldn't call me by my name, and he said I'm not going to call him Kalanji no more, and he called me by my name, which is Nigel Brown. You know what I'm saying? Let me just say that's the given name that my family gave me. The people that I love call me. I'm not ashamed of it. How silly is that? You know what I'm saying? I don't have a government name. I'm not down with the government. Fuck the government. You know what I'm saying? This is a name that my family gave me. Kalanji Jamachanga is a name that the movement gave me. You understand what I'm saying? So that is what it is, just in case anybody get confused. But never in your life, any white boy in your life think that you're going to pull the Kunta Kinte Toby joint with me. because on the internet you can do that, but try it in real life. Now I know some of y'all be like, that's a threat. I don't give a fuck what you call it. I don't play no cracker games with white folks or folks that love white folks. You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality of it. I wanted to point that part out because of the fact that too often some of you henpeck ass Negroes will let white folks do anything as long as they're supporting you, as long as they'll fund you. You let them do and say anything. And that's why a lot of these crackers run around talking about nigga, because they get comfortable. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not that type of guy. You know, so let that, you know, like my baby girl would say, my daughter used to say, how about those apples? You know, so anyway, you're checking out the Rise Up Morning Show. We ain't mean to get all sentimental. Isaac and them started that shit. But anyway, we got some news to talk about. And we appreciate you folks that check us out. Oh, speaking of movement work, at the bottom of the screen, we have scrolling a relative of one of our OGs, one of our veterans, who has been hospitalized for, I guess it's been 3 weeks. He's scheduled to come home today. We understand from his family, who doesn't live in the U.S., that he was evicted while he's been hospitalized. So he's coming home to no home. You know what I'm saying? So we're asking folks to, you know, put something on it. You know, we trying to put a little something on it ourselves. But if you can assist in at least getting this man a hotel or Airbnb for a week or two until we can do something to further it, then that'd be great. What do you call that? The Cash App. And again, I'm always bad with this shit. I gave you bonus Cash App and he'd be smiling. $BPM Reloaded, $BPM Reloaded, or you can go to our PayPal, which is at blackpowermedia.org/donate. blackpowermedia.org/donate. This is the reason we start programs like we have. One of the programs that we launched with FTP Movement a while back is Liberation Housing. And we're still working on that because we want to make sure that we have a situation, because as you can attest to, Natasha, just working with PPs, when the political prisoners get out, everybody's all excited. Everybody want to take pictures with them. You want to go to the event. You want to see them do the interviews, so on and so forth. A month, 2 months, 3 months down the line, you forget they're even out. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, they're not getting no back pay from the state. It ain't like the state gonna be like, you know what, shit, we locked you up all that time. Let's make sure you're good. Let's make sure you have a check. You know what I'm saying? So they're suffering on the outside just like they did on the inside. So we want to be able to build sustainability. We want sustainability. We want to make sure that the freedom fighters are taken care of. One of the things we forget, everybody's always talking about revolution. Folks ain't talking about building after revolution. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, we can get down, we fight and all that. So what do? We replace white supremacy with a black version of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
That's right.
Capitalism.
That's exactly what happened in the so-called independent countries.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what happened.
Every single time. Every single time.
You got to build at the same time. You can't wait till after the build. Like, you got to build where people are seeing that there's an alternative that they can really buy into. A lot of the times when people don't see that, they're not gonna, you don't wait till, what is the African proverb? You don't wait for when it rains to build your hut or something. I can't remember exactly the way it goes, but
ask Boona, since he'd only person point in Africa here.
Well, no, African countries. I have to do.
Or they're like, look, you don't wait to build a clubhouse until you get to France. But anyway, no, but on the real, no, we definitely get the point, and that's one of the things we attempt to do is organizations, serious organizations. You know what I'm saying? We're not just putting out statements and shit all day long. We're not just getting out in the streets with megaphones and talking shit. That ain't gonna build no sustainability. You know what I'm saying? We gotta build. We have to be able to organize. We have to be able to do this. That we have to have survival preparedness programs. We have to have skilled laborers. You know what I'm saying? You got to take your petty bourgeois skills and make them work in the interest of the masses. You know what I mean? When this shit go down, you think the state give a fuck about how many degrees you got? You can't eat them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You can't. That ain't gonna help you win no war. Be like, I got a PhD. Well, good for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on now. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of that, speaking of thinking that you advance, I would like to talk about that. What's the football player's name that was face down?
Tyreek Hill. Yeah, we pulled that.
Yes. If y'all want to, I know when Natasha, you have a story first or what? Because I know you got.
No, that's Isaac got the story.
Okay. So we're gonna let
No. All right. I'm pulling it up right now. No, I do.
Brought it up. Now you act like he don't know what we talking about.
You got the story.
Like who? Tariq Nasheed? No, brother. We can't tell you What's wrong with you, Isaac? Let's get to it, man.
Let's see here. Hopefully this don't have an ad or like where you got to sign into it, because that one link that we had was pretty ass.
Okay.
All right here. Okay, so Tyreek Hill, who plays for the Miami Dolphins, was arrested by Miami-Dade PD and was arrested during a traffic stop. And I watched the video of it, and so I'm gonna see if they have it on here. I believe they do. But it was originally a traffic violation, and the cops pulled him out. It was him versus six cops. He was able to make the game, as he stated in the video, that he needed to go to work, or he was but it was a video that specifically that caught my eye, which is why I wanted to talk to you guys about this. It was that stated where he has a lot of respect for cops. That and I just thought that might have been a good conversation for us to have in regards to the situation. The body cam footage that I seen, which is only about a minute in like 35 seconds, depicts him, the officer, knocking on his window and saying, "Don't knock on my window like that." That's what Hill says. And the officer mentions, "Well, I need to let you know that I'm here." And he references again, "Don't knock on my window like that" again. Then it surfaces to a situation where he rolls his window up, and it escalates the situation where they then prompt him to get out of the car, for which you see in this photo here. Let me pull it up. Sorry, you guys, I'm being super unprofessional right now. You see right here him on the floor. I think there might be a video to this. Okay, no, it's an ad. My bad, you guys.
I think it might come on after the ad, but you can play it. You could check it in the background.
Okay, you got to teach me how you do the article things, because
hey man, let's do it live on air now. Good time for trial and error. No, I'm joking.
Okay, so here's the footage right here.
Knock on my window like that, man. Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Don't knock on my window. Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Don't knock on my window like that, though. Like what? Don't knock on my window like that. Why you have it up? Don't knock on my window like that. Why you have it up? I have to knock to let you know I'm here. That way you can lower it and talk to you. Just get my ticket, bro, so I can go. I'm late, gang. Do what you gotta do. Keep it down. Hey. Keep your window down. Hey, keep your window down. Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Get out. Get out. Damn. What part of brother you in this car? I ain't Drew. I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting out, bro. Damn, twin. When we tell you to do something, you do it. You understand? You understand? Not what you want.
Okay, so as you guys seen, that's what happened. And the further he ends up making the game, he ends up going scoring a touchdown, and they do this dance with him and his partner where he puts his hands behind his back and they start dancing, like trying to make fun of it. Now we all know that if that was me, if that was Buna, if that was Fernando, if that was Natasha, if that was you, Kalanji, we wouldn't be out the same day, yet alone be able to go and play in a national football game and then be able to go to a press conference and talk about it and be like, oh, that's just another, trying to act like it's something that's that he went through a bad situation, but in reality, you used that capital that white hegemony gives you to be able to get yourself out because you're a commodity to them. You're a commodity to the Dolphins. So you get out early and then you come to this press conference and you talk about, police are good, but in the wake of police being good, we just seen Sonia Massey get shot in the head by by a neo-Nazi. We seen just coming up, I think it was last week, evidence came that they're trying to now blame the boyfriend of Breonna Taylor for why they shot through her house and acquitted all the officers of charges. So again, they use even some of the most athletic, some of even what could be the most intellectual individuals, and they turn them against their own people, so that he goes on that press conference and millions of people are watching, and he gets to sit up there and say, hey, police are good. That's I thought that was wild. So I just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention, get your guys' thoughts on that. We live in a world where people like him can get out in less than 45 fucking minutes, from jail, but can never, understand that there are people like Leonard Peltier, people like Imam Jamil Al-Amin, people like Mumia Abu Jamal that are in jail for pettyless, meaningless crimes that they're innocent to, and they never utter a word about them, simply because it doesn't aid them or white hegemony. So I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts.
I have a question. I don't know if I got it, wrong. When you say, did he say that he respect the police?
Yes.
During the press conference or
during the press? No, during the press conference. So that was after the game and whatnot. And he stated, and if I could pull the video up, I will on the fly, where he says exactly that. And so it's just kind of, for me, a little disgusting, to see yet another, brother from the diaspora do this. So let me see if I can pull it up though.
I think that
his case is desperate, but I mean,
just real quick. The disgusting part of the whole thing, and I'm never siding with the pigs. Let me just say that out the gate. You know what I'm saying? But he's a jackass because he escalated the situation himself. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't advise that for no one. You know what I mean? We deal with the pigs when we have to. We try to make that encounter as swift and quick as possible. And I've been in cars where I'm driving and someone will be on the passenger side and they trying to impress me. They talking shit to the police. I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get loose. He pulled you over for that. Who the fuck are you? The lawyer? The judge? Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? I ain't sitting there arguing with this motherfucker because of the fact that he can't do nothing for me. So either you're gonna give me a ticket or you not. I'm not sitting there about to go back and forth. We ain't having no small talk, none of that. You know what I'm saying? But this whole thing right here, it's like under the current police climate or the police climate period, he could have been killed.
Yeah.
Shot through the window. People have been shot for less than that. But you talking this shit, just give him a ticket, whatever, because see, he's driving a Lamborghini or whatever he's driving. So he felt untouchable. So then they put his face in the ground like you put a dog nose in shit when they use the bathroom in the house. You know what I'm saying? they treated him like he used the bathroom in the house. He put his nose down in it. You know what I mean? To prove to them, like, look, you still nigga. You know, so to me, I don't condone. While I don't condone the police, we already know that they're rabid dogs. I'm not gonna say, you know, Isaac has a pit bull, and I stick my hand in his mouth because I want to see what his tongue feel like, and then he locked down on my goddamn arm. It's like, yo, you mad at the dog? That's what dogs do. That's what these running dogs to the state do. You know, so the thing is, because of status and because of class, as you mentioned, his ass was able to go play the game, right?
Yeah.
Any of us, we get locked up for a damn traffic ticket. You be lucky you get out the same day.
72 hours, the least.
Yeah, he running, he running up and down the field, you know, playing games, acting like he's shackled. You still a slave.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But you know, I think that was some straight. I think it was disgusting for us who are fighting for our people's liberation, because of the fact that, you know, then these crackers and these other folks look at how they do. You understand what I'm saying? Not that we care about what they talking about, but just being straight up and down. It's like, and plus he told you to roll the goddamn window back down, you gonna roll it back up. And your windows are mad tinted. Now, if that would have been Georgia, they just broke the window.
Oh, and he mentioned about the windows and talked about, oh, if he has his windows down all the time, you know, people will see him. And so again, trying to get people to coddle him for his celebrity status and feel bad. And this is why I need to illegally tint, you know, my windows, you know,
not even to that point though. You know, forget all that. The thing is, you already pulled over. Dude told you the window was rolled down already. You rolled it back up, which you ain't want nobody see you in it. They really see you when they put your ass on the ground. Mm. You know what I mean? So you didn't want to see him in the car. Now the whole world saw you. And now you got the dash cam. And then after that, you get your black ass on the press conference talking about how you respect the police. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then folks is treating them like he Kaepernick. Get your ass out of here.
Yeah. No, that's probably what he's paid for. I mean,
yeah, I definitely think that. What were you saying, Buna?
No, I was saying he probably doesn't say otherwise. You know, obviously, you know, if he doesn't say something that pleases the system, he'll probably lose his job. So, but he's disgraceful. I mean, like Isaac said, you know, there are so many people who are being killed on a daily basis. So I have no more patience, to be honest. I don't want to be too emotional, but I have no patience with this type of people anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I was once arrested, you know, by the police. I actually spent the night in jail. This is something I don't talk about publicly. But the police officers, he asked me, do you have a negative image of the police? I said, I don't like the police. I said, I don't trust the police.
Give them that Mandela energy.
You are voting, you know, the police in France, we know that 60, no, sorry. Did I say 60? Maybe 80%. Okay, up to 80% of, you know, police officers, they do vote for the far right-wing neo-Nazi party.
Oh, yeah.
And they know what they're doing, why they're doing it. So he was saying, yeah, you know, some police officers, they have good, you know, some of them are good, others are bad, but the majority is good. I say, no, that's your opinion. You know,
you said 80%?
At least,
yeah, close to 80%.
Well, that's good, because here in the United States, 100% work for neo-Nazis. You know what I'm saying? Black
100% work for neo-Nazis.
Yeah, good cop, bad cop, whatever. If they work for the establishment, they working for some goddamn neo-Nazis.
That's right.
So yeah, I get your point, but I'm just a little.
So, you know, because you know, I could have been in trouble for saying that, because you say, you don't respect the, you know, the so-called institution, blah blah. I say, man, if you don't have a clear analysis of who opposes you or who means you, you know, harm, you can blame me. You can only blame yourselves if anything happens to you, because you cannot look at all the, you know, all the blacks who are being mass incarcerated, killed, you know, and just, you know, assume that as long as you abide by the law, quote unquote, nothing will happen to you. So that's why I'm saying I have no more patience.
I think this is also a reminder, you know, of, you know, some people that still think that, you know, even though he didn't get killed or nothing, but it still reminded some people that think that some brothers and sisters that think that proximity to white folks will, you know, keep them safe from police also, you know.
Yeah.
Like you said, you know, you're just another one of us. They don't give a fuck if you got a degree. We've seen professors slammed on the ground. We've seen, you know what I mean? So that's a good little
And
reminder.
Fernando, you know, this reminds me of an incident. Was it with Henry Louis Gates, who was arrested by the police? And then Obama called him and the police officer for a coffee or something. You guys remember that?
They're the beer summit, not coffee. They had beer. They had beer at the White House. I'm sorry, Natasha, you had something to say, man. Don't mind us. These ranting, raving lunatics in France.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna wait for Fernando to finish his point to go. I was gonna say I agree with, well, obviously everything that you've all said, but not obviously, but with everything that you all said, but with the point that Bruno was made as well as talking about, it shows the ignorance when you have an ignorance of our situation, when you don't have a real analysis about the actual situation that we're in, the delusion that exists, especially in connection to what Fernando was saying, when you are chosen to be part of, you know, or in a certain proximity to white people, and also how like we already know what's up with the NFL. Like, you know, with everything that happened with Colin Kaepernick, how the NFL, they, you know, all the white people, those white men who own these teams, you know, these white families who own these teams. And it's just reminiscent too of like how during enslavement, you know, during chattel slavery, you had these white families making you or entertain them. And that, you know, you had a certain value because you could entertain them. But that did not mean that you were not, you know, enslaved. That did not mean that in any moment when they want to kill you or, you know, string you up or, you know, beat you or do whatever they want to you, that they couldn't do that. And, you know, how people get it mixed up because they don't have a real analysis. And then to go on after, like you were saying, when he talks about, you know, in the post, when he after the game and he's talking about in the press conference, how he respects the police, how you make sure to continue that line so that people also take on that same ignorant analysis of what our actual situation is. Oh, you know, I respect the police. I was just, you know, doing this and you know, it's not a big deal. I'm this person or whatever. So other people also continue to buy this false idea of actually what, you know, our situation is. And I remember, you know, Sekou Odinga, he had said that, you know, never give the police a reason to kill you, because they will kill you for no reason. So we already know, you know, what it is. And so when you already know what it is, you do, because you understand you're in war. In war, you're going to act like you're in war. Like you're going to act accordingly, knowing that like they don't need a reason. Of course, if it was a white boy or a white girl, it would have been different too. They get, you know, they do anything. They be doing some crazy stuff, and they, you know, they'll go shoot up a whole school, and then, you know, or go shoot up a whole church, and then
McDonald's.
Exactly. They hug them, they buy them some McDonald's, they walk them all nice. So we already know, like, white people, this is their, you know, their wild, wild west that they've created, right? The U.S. That, you know, this is a lawless land for them to do whatever they want. And those who are their captives, like African people and indigenous people, captives in this war that's still going on, that you are going to be treated in that way. And those of you who can, you know, have this false idea or ignorance around what the situation is, yeah, you're going to help other people think that it's the same, right? You're going to help other people think like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter what, you know, if I have money, I can do this, until they show you, to remind you who you are.
Well, hey man, I'm gonna.
No, what I would. Well, sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just gonna say
what I would slightly disagree. Sorry about that, Kalanji. With my sister Natasha, slightly disagree with my sister Natasha. Is I think that they're not ignorant. They might be faking ignorance, but I don't see. Okay, I don't live in the US, so I might be wrong. But I don't see how
they got some stupid motherfuckers out here.
Yeah, but you know, you can act stupid, but I don't see how they can be ignorant about the real situation of black people there, even if they grew up in
come to Georgia.
Propaganda, man. A lot of propaganda.
Yeah. I definitely get what you're saying, Buna, that in the sense that it seems like they can't be that ignorant. But then on the other sense, yeah, there's a lot of people who are really that ignorant. They really are drinking the Kool-Aid, and like you will fight with them about the actual, like it will be a whole thing, like to the point where it's not even worth getting into the certain conversations about it. So that type of ignorance is real, but I see why you would think like there's no way.
I just know cowards.
Check this out though, Boona. I got locked up in Georgia one time, right? So the white cop told me to go in the cell and close the gate behind me, and he walked away. So he come back 2 hours later, and the cell was still open. He said, "You didn't lock the thing?" I said, "What the hell am I lock myself in a cage for? Are you crazy? What the fuck I'm supposed to be doing?" He's in there looking shocked, like, "How'd you open this?" What the fuck you talking about? He just walked away all arrogant, like I'm gonna close the door and lock myself in the cage. The fuck I look like Houdini? You know what I'm saying? Like, so anyway, so you say they're not that stupid. I mean, it literally was a couple hours when he came back and realized that I didn't close the damn joint. You know what I'm saying? Shit, truth be told, I was hoping another door was unlocked so I could just mosey on through. I'm like, we good on this end. You know what I'm saying? Roger that. Close the door behind you. Okay, I'll close the gate behind me. But anyway, I'm about to act like Tyreek Hill and beat it. Nah, that wasn't true. Anyway, I got to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Handle this business around here. Y'all be safe. We appreciate you all. Rise Up Morning Show. These folks gonna still be talking to you. I don't know what in the world they're gonna be talking about. I'm gonna leave Natasha in charge, so Lord only knows. Anyway,
don't leave me in charge because I won't be here for long.
See, she just like me. She ain't even gonna close the gate behind her. All right, man. Y'all be safe.
Later.
Peace.
Later.
Rise up.
Rise up.
All right, you guys. I think it's time for us to probably take a break for Black Power to get situated for the next block. I put in the chat some a link. I'll be putting a couple more. And so we'll be talking, but for the viewers, stay tuned. This is the Rise Up Morning Show with Fernando, Natasha, Buna, myself, Isaac Jasper. Every episode, it's getting more conscious. We're getting more comfortable. Again, not even going to address anything. We're just going to keep it pushing. Welcome to Black Power.
Rise up.
Rise up.
Black Power, because we think that is the fundamental issue of these times that we live in, but in fact it's been the fundamental issue for African people for a very long time now. First of all, what I would like to do is just briefly say some things about the African People's Socialist Party, which is the organization that I chair. We are a revolutionary organization. And by that, I want to say that we are convinced that this country, this system, do not have the ability to do justice by African people. That if we are to ever know justice, freedom, and democracy, we are going to have a revolution. It's that simple. And I know that that's a difficult issue for a lot of folk. And the fact that it is obviously a difficult issue for a lot of folk is reflected in the number of people who are in this room right now. But it is nevertheless the truth. And it's important to talk about that because we can continue to have discussions that make us feel good, but won't take us anywhere. We can continue to have discussions where people come before us and make rhymes like up with hope and down with dope, and perhaps we'll feel better, but they don't take us any place. And what we have to do is come up with some kind of analysis of the reality that we are confronted with as a people, and then be able to use that analysis to change our circumstances so that they are not the kind of circumstances we find ourselves confronted with today, but what we want for ourselves and for our children in the future. So we are a revolutionary organization. We believe that if one wants to know what it will take for us to become free, all we have to do is look at history and see what it took for us to become enslaved. And if we find any place in our history that we voted ourselves into slavery, then I say let's go and get together and vote ourselves the hell out of slavery. And if we can find any place in history where we sang our way into it, then let's sing our way out of it. But the reality, that is not the case, sisters and brothers. The reality is that we are going to have to cut, shoot, and bomb our way out of the circumstances that we find ourselves confronted with. And I know that's not something that everybody wants to hear, and it's not something that a lot of folk want to hear. But it's the truth nevertheless. This is not a suggestion at this meeting that once you're on your way out, we're going to be handing out AK-47s for people to go out and do your thing. Reality is I'd be extremely afraid to pass out AK-47s in the community because I'd be afraid that I'd probably become one of the first victims of the AK-47. In other words, there's a lot of work that we have to do in the interim. But having said that there's a lot of work we have to do, we have to also remember that our objective is total, absolute liberation for our people. And you can't have it any other way. There's no way that you can talk about sharing the power over your lives with somebody else and then feeling like you got a right to complain about what somebody does to you. Either you want the power or you don't. And some people are afraid of the power, and some people are not afraid of the power. In fact, actually understand and believe that we need the power, but just don't believe we're going to ever be able to get the power. And so what they will do is find themselves compromising forever with a system that has never been able to bring anything but genocide and oppression to African people, as opposed to struggling to find some way to end our relationship with this North American hell that we've been confronted with for something like 500 years today. So we're a revolutionary organization. We're a revolutionary organization that was founded in 1972 at the back of the attack on and defeat of the Black Revolution of the 60s. The Black Revolution of the 60s was one of the most consequential things that has ever occurred in this country, and it's something that we have to struggle to understand. All of us need to struggle to understand. And we need to understand it because subsequent to the defeat of the Black Revolution of the 60s, there's been a lot of historical revisionism that's been occurring in this country. And what we find is today people tell us that the 60s was not about revolution, but it was about the flower children in Haight-Ashbury and San Francisco making love and not war. They tell us it was about hippies. Or if they if they find themselves talking about African people in this country, what they suggest is that perhaps it has something to do with a generational thing. That a few young people were caught up by these mysterious times and got involved, and they even sometimes suggested maybe somebody put something in the water and all of us went a little crazy. But the reality is that the 60s was a period that was characterized by the Chinese as an era within which there was great disorder under the heavens. And the reality is that revolution was the main trend in the entire world in the 60s, not just in Philadelphia. But everywhere in the world, oppressed people had risen up and were fighting for their freedom. And they were fighting all over Latin America. In fact, the 60s were opened with the great revolution in Cuba in 1959 that overthrew a U.S. puppet government under Batista, where the U.S. held Cuba as a whorehouse for white people and a gambling den for wealthy white people and gangsters and what have you. It was Cuba that opened up the 60s. It was, we saw the 60s.
All right, we are back. on the Rise Up Morning Show. We're going to get into a discussion on Black Power to kind of conclude. But before we do, to conclude at least the little sports section that, we don't really have so often on the Rise Up Show, I'd like to discuss this article that I put in the chat if you guys had some time to take a look at it, or if you just heard about it in the news. So this is happening.
Kendrick Lamar, everybody's favorite rapper.
Everybody's quote unquote conscious rapper.
Damn.
Goes from
they not like us. It's taking a whole new meaning right now.
Goes from quoting Atlanta slave trades to actively working in reciprocity with white hegemony. Not that he wasn't already beforehand.
Right.
But it just goes.
This is the next step. This is the next step.
Yeah, but it for me, I always look at this as like, why is it that they always want to question some they co-opt some some radical aesthetic and then completely turn their backs on their people. They think this is, again, he thinks this is for the people. I'm sorry, but you would never see like that flag draped behind him sitting down acting like this is something that is like, for the culture, and it's not. This is not like at all. So I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that briefly before we get into what Omali Yeshitela is talking about. People who don't really understand, this is not the first time that a person from the diaspora obviously has headlined the Super Bowl. They use their celebrities that are from our diaspora to justify stuff. While Usher was doing all of this to his body and whatnot, kids in Rafa were being bombed.
Yeah.
So I want to know if people will understand that while he's performing not like us, and he has a bunch of individuals in the crowd saying "Ovi ho," I want to know if he's going to be conscious enough to know that there is active warfare going on still in the wake of us not consciously addressing that there is a fucking extermination and genocide going on in Palestine. And so I just want to get you guys' thoughts briefly. I know we kind of agreed on an end time limit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll start this off with we'll do Boona, because I know Boona really isn't a sports person, so maybe we can get a perspective. Maybe we can get a perspective that
Boona brought us the soccer story.
Oh yeah, that is right. My bad. I'm over here. My bad.
Yeah, I just don't watch football. That's why. I mean, your version of football.
Yeah.
No, I mean, once again, I might be wrong, but I don't think that he's unconscious. I think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's doing exactly what he's paid for. And, our movement, revolutionary movement back in the 50s and 60s has been defeated. And we're still suffering the brunt of that historic defeat. We're still to recover from that defeat. I don't know if we've done a proper diagnosis of what it has, And when I say diagnosis, I don't want to sound too scientific or academic, but just common sense. Look at people around you. What happens to Black people who speak truth to power, or who try to resist? And this reminds me when Kyrie Irving, was it last year, when he posted on Twitter, it was just a link to a movie that he watched from
two years
Negroes
ago,
to Hebrews, or, the reverse.
Just
Just share a link, and you had those, white supremacists from the ADL who've been fighting Black organization for decades. They had him to, apologize, which he did, because obviously he didn't mean anything harmful, towards our Jewish brothers and sisters. But the fact that he was, castigated by an anti-Black, anti-revolutionary, organization like the ADL, racist organization that has been in collusion with the white supremacist genocidal regime of Israel for very, very long time. This really hurt me. And but it looks like Kerry hasn't really backed down from some of his positions. I've seen him recently with a kufiya, just like I'm wearing now. So he's been trying to resist somehow. But I think they've also made an analysis of what happens to those who go too far, like those slave rebels, those who want to burn down the plantation, right? So I think they know exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it. They might delude themselves into thinking that they still somehow preserving or perpetuated the legacy of MLK, because doing some of those football games, the Super Bowl. I know one year, I don't know if they're doing it on a yearly basis, but one year there was a commercial with Martin Luther King. It's a way for them to co-opt our struggle, and I think there are not many artists. I don't know if we should blame them. There are not many of them who are willing to pay the price that Paul Robeson back in the 50s paid, and who in our communities is willing to pay. We are all humans, so people have to measure the risk they're taking, the system is giving them incentives, but if they're not willing to abide by what the system asks them to do, they know they'll be punished. And some of them, they just accept to, abide by the rules that have been imposed. So I feel kind of, divided between even some kind of mercy for these people who are trapped in a system they cannot escape, because obviously this is the only way for them to make a living, and also at the same time being frustrated that they are not only insulting our the radical legacy of our ancestors, basically spitting on their graves, I'll put it like that, and betraying the struggle of their people. I don't know what I would have done if I were them, but I'm happy I'm not among those celebrities that are willing to sell out for any reason.
Yeah, Fernando.
I agree. First, I want to start by shouting out, the athletes like Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Shout out.
You know what I mean?
Hopefully we can get them on.
These are athletes that even Craig Hodges, these kind of these NBA players that I respect so much, because these athletes are the ones that stood on their principles. They stood on their shit. They were like, okay, you want to boycott me? You want to kick me out of the league? This is what I'm about. This is what I believe. This is who I am. I'm not going to change for your money. What, you think I'm going to change for your contracts? Fuck you. This is who I am. And we need that. We need that. So much respect to these brothers who by the way got whiteballed for the rest of their careers. They weren't able to find any other contracts in the league, and then we don't speak enough about them, because they do these type of sacrifices, and then we out here talking about Jordan and Kobe and LeBron, and we forget these athletes that actually and on top of that, guys like Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, who could have actually been some of the greatest ball players ever if they would have actually stayed. The people who know basketball and who've seen him know the type of talent. But anyway,
Curry before Curry.
yeah, no doubt. But anyway, to get back to Kendrick Lamar, I think like Buna said, I think he knows what he's doing. I think there's a certain cap that people, once you get to a certain type of once you become a celebrity, I think we've lost you. You're not with the people anymore. You can make a living doing what you do. You can be good. You can be somewhat known. But once you pass a certain cap, like you become like a celebrity type person, you're not with the people anymore. So I'm not expecting people like Kendrick Lamar or these guys, because even though he's a great rapper, he has a lot of talent, and he's even said some very interesting things. But for example, he does things like wearing a diamond encrusted crown. He wears like a Jesus diamond encrusted crown from Tiffany's. This is the type of shit that's, you know,
Tiffany's.
you know what I'm saying? This is the type of shit that, you know, makes me, you know, kind of know where he stands. And, you know, for him to do that now, to come up on a, you know, on a commercial with a huge American flag behind him and do the halftime Super Bowl show and all this just shows that, to me, he still kind of measures success through the eyes of the oppressor. You know, like a lot of people do. They measure success through the eyes of the oppressor. You know, he has more. He's doing more than well enough to refuse that. To be like, no, thank you for your invitation. I'm not fucking with it. You know, he doesn't. It's not something that he has to do in order to because a lot of people sometimes, a lot of, you know, athletes or entertainers, they try to be like, oh, I have to feed my family. I have to cut the bullshit. You know. So yeah, I think that's what I think, man. He knows what he's doing, and it's a shame, but that's where we at.
Yeah, and you know, Buna mentioned, you know, Paul Robeson, you know, you mentioned Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, you know, Craig Hodges, you know, and if we were to look at, you know, a parallel, you know, to you know, from music to sports, you know, we have individuals like Sam Cooke, who was, you know, killed for advocating for, you know, Black artists to, you know, leave their contracts, you know, to not sign new contracts and to come together to be able to formulate a all Black record, you know, company. You know, now the story goes out there that, you know, somehow he was fondling a woman or was, you know, being abusive with a woman and then got shot when, you know, screams were heard. But it just so happens that the individual that killed Sam Cooke is the same individual that was a bag lady for the mob. The mob had ties to the record labels in many different facets. So, you know, and that in of it itself is what would be classified as a conspiratorial, you know, thing. But when you look at it in the context, music has lost that sense of radicalism, you know, and maybe that's a conversation that we could have, you know, Professor Griff on for, where we can talk about that through the lens of not just hip hop, but music in of it itself. You know, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that up to your guys' attention because it is something that was making news. People are like, oh, look, you know, this is something nothing we should be clapping for, nothing we should be proud about. Again, to reference Usher's performance of last year's Super Bowl, the individual was performing, and while he was performing, they were bombing Rafah, the same place they told Palestinians to go to. So again, it's wild. But to conclude, you know, this conversation.
Can I say something very quick?
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Maybe we just
next...
conclude with this conversation here.
No, going back to your point on Rafah, I mean, you know, next generation will judge us very harshly. I mean, all the people who remain silent on what's going on in Palestine, we have no excuse. I mean, I don't care how much money you make, don't care how rich you are, or whether you think that, you know, we should prioritize our own struggles, blah, blah, blah. I don't see any reason for any person, African or African descent, to remain silent on what's going on in Gaza. It's just not possible. So there is no rational explanation for me for people to remain silent or, you know, trying to avoid dealing with that issue, which is a live, televised genocide implemented, facilitated with our own tax, euros or dollars. Okay, there is no way out of it. I mean, people cannot talk their way out of, you know, their cowardice. You mentioned LeBron James made a statement on the October 7th, you know, denouncing the crimes against the Israelis, but he remained silent since then. Hasn't said anything about the Palestinians. You know, I don't like singling out, you know, this type of place because for me they are not opinion leaders. They are not leaders of our community. Only those who make sacrifices for the people are actual leaders. Okay, I'm not saying that our leaders should all be intellectuals or politicians or writers or whatever. You know, I mentioned Paul Robeson. It's probably one of the greatest revolutionaries we've ever had in the history of Black people at least in 20th century, right? So I don't have like an elitist or intellectualist conception of what our leaders should look like. But if you are able to denounce what happened on October 7th, okay, whatever people might think of it, why do you remain silent on what's been going on since then? I mean, for me, there is no reason. Even greed cannot explain that, or fear. You cannot explain that, because what they're doing to the Palestinians, they can do it to any other people on planet Earth, starting by black people. Okay? I'm not saying that this should be the reason why we should express solidarity with our Palestinian brothers and sisters, with whom there is a long tradition of, anti-colonial solidarity. But the people who think that they are spared from that type of violence or that type of barbaric genocide, I think they're just, living in illusions. Because whatever they're doing right now in Palestine, you can be pretty sure that they export it to other parts of the world. Because we know that the Israelis, they export the genocidal tactics that they're testing on the Palestinians to other parts of the world, whether in terms of surveillance technology, in terms of armament, in terms of mass killing. That's why I think a lot of people are watching what's going on in Gaza so that they can pass those weapons, American weapons, for most of them, to other battlegrounds. So I know that, some people have been accusing me of doing some pro-Palestinian proselytism, but I think they're just ignorant. I think those who underestimate the horrors that are being committed against the Palestinians, again, live, televised on social media, they're making one of the most fatal mistakes they will make in their life.
Yeah, I know that. And you, like how you said, live, televised, facilitated with the euros, tax dollars,
pounds,
everything. Like, and to know that we like that individuals still want to argue if we need to stand in solidarity with Palestine.
I have no time for those people anymore.
Yeah, it's like, again, anymore. No time from them. Fernando, did you have anything you wanted to conclude with before we kind of wrap this up?
Yeah, I just wanted. We spoke a little earlier. We shouted each other out. I just want to shout out, all the listeners, man. Thank you to everybody who's been sharing. The Rise Up Morning Show. Everybody who's been sharing, who's been liking, who's been, in the chat. We appreciate you as well. Everybody in the chat, everybody leaving comments and sharing. And make sure you go to blackpowermedia.org. And like Kalonji said, there's a lot going on in there. You can get the Afro Pick magazine. You can see some description, about all the shows we got going on. And please continue to rock with us, because Black Power Media Reloaded. We're here. We're about where we need to be about. It's about liberation, like we said, and we're gonna keep bringing that, that critical thinking, that African revolutionary perspective. So we appreciate everybody.
Yeah, much appreciated. Again, to the viewers, thank you guys for watching. We will conclude there. Enjoy our outro of our comrade Sonny Patterson. We will see you guys in the next one.
Rise up.
Rise up.
Sometimes the riot is a quiet one. Well, the battle is to love yourself and function in society where voices of reason are muted by anxiety, like gaining notoriety is selling your soul. So we tend to go no deeper than the shallow water level, trying to keep us overhead in the face of all the slurs and the stares. Mentally frozen, paralyzed by fear of failure and success. So we lock, stock, barrel, running while it's crumbling. All these towers and they're babbling, but the baby's in the bath and the stash under the bed. On my head, spinning from the circles and the puppets and the strings that they pull, then we move. Reactionary warfare never produces winners on the field. Feeble and foolish, what tools and what weapons are we using? We need some new ones. Real revolution, it's real solutions. Well, we've taken on the ways of the ones who conquer with their guns and religion and division. Got my inner me looking like my enemy. Real revolution, where my inner me really a mirror for the galaxy. New time, brand new paradigms, new contracts to sign. They thought that this would all be televised, though it's happening right before our very eyes. It's on the inside, with their guns cocked. When that rock drops, standing on the rooftop, praying that the mountaintop can live inside the valley. People tell me the reward is somewhere off in heaven, like heaven's only in the sky, like chariots are swinging, like God is something separate from yourself, from your wealth, from your lover, from your neighbor. Oh, your savior is coming in your own name, coming with the face the same. Real revolution, it's real solutions, where we've taken on the ways of the ones who conquer with their guns and religion and division. Got my inner me looking like my enemy. Real revolution.